Welcome back to Terror and Urban Myths. If you're enjoying these explorations into the world's most unsettling folklore, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Tonight, we're taking you deep into the heart of Costa Rica, a land where lush landscapes hide unsettling tales whispered through generations.
And few tales are as unsettling as the one we're about to unravel, the legend of the Carretas sin buoys, or Oxcarts without oxen. It's a story that chills you to the bone and forces you to confront the consequences of your actions.
Okay, so what exactly are we dealing with here? A phantom ox cart roaming the streets.
Imagine yourself walking alone at night. The streets are deserted and the only sound is the wind rustling through the trees. Suddenly you hear the distinct rumble of wooden wheels on cobblestones, the unmistakable sound of an approaching ox cart. But as you peer into the darkness, there's something deeply wrong. There are no oxen, no driver, just a cart moving as if pulled by an unseen force.
That imagery is incredibly unsettling. It makes you wonder who or what could be driving this thing.
That's where the legend takes a truly fascinating turn. There are several theories, each more unsettling than the last. Some say the driver is the ghost of a witch seeking revenge on those who wronged her in life. Others believe it's Satan himself taking a midnight ride to collect souls. And then there are those who claim it's a supernatural entity, something beyond human comprehension.
So each potential driver adds another layer of fear to this already terrifying tale. What kind of impact do you think these stories have on people's daily lives?
These stories are deeply ingrained in the cultural fabric of Costa Rica. They serve as more than just spooky tales. They're warnings, moral compasses, reminders that our actions have consequences.
You mentioned the witch as a possible driver. Is there a specific significance to that figure in Costa Rican folklore?
The witch, often seen as a figure operating outside societal norms, could represent the dangers of unchecked ambition and the pursuit of power at any cost. It's a cautionary tale, reminding people to stay true to their principles and avoid succumbing to the allure of forbidden knowledge or dark magic.
And what about the idea of Satan as the driver? What does that tell us about the cultural context of this legend?
Satan, of course, embodies ultimate evil and the temptation to stray from a righteous path. His presence as the potential driver speaks to the deeply religious roots of Costa Rican culture and the belief in a cosmic battle between good and evil. It serves as a stark warning against succumbing to temptation and the eternal consequences of choosing darkness over light.
So we have these figures of fear and temptation driving this ghostly cart. But why an ox cart specifically?
That's a crucial detail that sheds light on the deeper meaning of this legend. In Costa Rican culture, the ox cart represents a simpler time, a connection to the land, to hard work and tradition.
So by using the ox cart, the legend connects these primal fears with the very foundations of their society, reminding people of what they stand to lose.
Precisely. It's a reminder that straying from the values of honesty, hard work, and community could lead to disastrous consequences.
But this spectral ox cart doesn't just appear randomly, does it? There's a reason it chooses to reveal itself to certain people.
You're absolutely right. The appearance of the Carretas sin buoys is never a good sign. It's widely believed to be an omen, a warning to those who have strayed from a righteous path.
So who should be worried about encountering this ghostly cart? What kind of behavior attracts its attention?
The legends mention several types of individuals who might find themselves in the cart's path. Greedy individuals, for instance, those who prioritize wealth and material possessions above all else. Imagine you're consumed by the pursuit of riches, cutting corners, perhaps even exploiting others to get ahead.
This sounds like a classic morality tale reminding people of the dangers of greed and the importance of ethical behavior.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world where material wealth is often prioritized over spiritual well-being.
So the greedies are on the watch list.
Mm.
Anyone else who should be wary of the Carretas sin buoys?
Another group mentioned in the legends are couples engaged in constant conflict. Imagine a household filled with endless bickering resentment where love has turned to bitterness and anger.
This idea, the cart, appearing to those in conflict, is really interesting. Is it a warning to try and mend their relationship, to find a path back to harmony?
It's a powerful reminder of the importance of communication, compromise, and forgiveness in maintaining healthy relationships.
So it's not just about personal morality, but also about the health and well-being of the community as a whole. Is there anyone else who might find themselves face-to-face with this ghostly ox cart?
The legends also speak of young people abusing their freedom. Think of those who are reckless, disrespectful, indulging in excesses, and disregarding the wisdom of their elders.
So it's a warning to the younger generation to respect tradition, to be mindful of their actions, and to heed the advice of those who have walked the path before them.
It's about finding a balance between youthful exploration and respecting the values that have shaped their community for generations.
Okay, so we have a better understanding of who might attract the attention of the Caretta Sinbuais. But what happens to those who actually see this spectral cart? Is it just a scare, or is it something more permanent?
That's where the legend takes a truly chilling turn. Seeing the Caretta Sinbuais is widely believed to be a premonition of death. It's not an immediate death sentence, but rather a final warning, an opportunity to get your affairs in order and make amends for any wrongdoing.
So it's like a supernatural wake-up call, a final chance to right your wrongs before it's too late. But what about those who only hear the cart but don't actually see it? Is there a significance to that as well?
You bring up an interesting point. The sound of the cart is just as unsettling as the sight of it. It's a reminder that the supernatural is near, watching, waiting.
This idea of an unseen presence judging your actions must be incredibly unsettling.
It's a powerful reminder that we are never truly alone, that our choices are being observed, and that there may be consequences beyond our understanding.
So even if you don't see the cart hearing, it is enough to make you question your actions and consider whether you've been walking a righteous path. But what happens to those who ignore the warning, who continue down a path of greed, conflict, or reckless behavior?
There's an even more terrifying version of the legend that addresses exactly that. Some say the Caretta Sinbuais isn't just empty. It carries the souls of those who ignored its warning, those who refuse to change their ways, and now face an eternity of torment.
This raises a fascinating question about the nature of punishment and redemption in Costa Rican folklore. Is this idea of eternal torment a common theme in other stories?
It's a concept that appears frequently in many cultures' folklore, reflecting a deep-seated human fear of facing consequences for our actions, not only in this life, but potentially in the afterlife as well. It speaks to the universal human desire for justice, for balance, for the reassurance that those who do wrong will ultimately face some form of reckoning.
So the Caretta Sinbuais serves not just as a warning to the living, but also as a chilling reminder of the potential consequences of ignoring that warning.
It's a powerful message woven into the fabric of Costa Rican folklore, passed down through generations to instill a sense of accountability and responsibility for one's actions.
You know, it's fascinating how this legend manages to be both terrifying and thought-provoking. It's not just a spooky story. It's a reflection of a culture's values and beliefs.
Absolutely. The Caretta Sinbuais offers a glimpse into the heart of Costa Rican society, highlighting the importance of moral conduct, community harmony, and respect for tradition.
We've talked about the cart's potential drivers and the types of people who might attract its attention, but I'm curious about the legend itself. How did it come to be such a prominent part of Costa Rican folklore?
That's a question that has intrigued scholars and storytellers alike for centuries. The origins of the legend are shrouded in mystery, likely blending indigenous beliefs with Spanish colonial influences.
It's fascinating to think about how these different cultural elements merge to create such a powerful and enduring tale.
It's a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and the way legends evolve and adapt over time, reflecting the changing values and anxieties of the people who tell them.
We've talked about the Caretta Sinbuais as a warning, but there's also an element of fear associated with it. How does fear play a role in shaping people's behavior in relation to this legend?
Fear is a powerful motivator. In the context of this legend, it serves as a deterrent, a way of discouraging behaviors that are deemed harmful to individuals and the community as a whole.
It's like a supernatural check and balance system, reminding people of the potential consequences of their actions.
It's a reminder that there are forces beyond our control, both seen and unseen, that may hold us accountable for the choices we make.
It's interesting how the legend uses a familiar object, the Oxcart, to create such a sense of unease. Why not a horse-drawn carriage or a phantom car?
The Oxcart is deeply symbolic in Costa Rican culture. It represents a simpler time, connection to the land, to hard work and tradition, as we discussed earlier.
So by using an image so deeply ingrained in the collective memory, the legend becomes even more potent, more resonant.
Precisely. It taps into a sense of nostalgia, a yearning for a time when life was perhaps less complicated, more connected to the natural world.
And by juxtaposing this symbol of tradition with the supernatural, the legend creates a powerful tension between the familiar and the unknown.
It's a reminder that even in the most ordinary aspects of life, there's an element of mystery, of forces beyond our comprehension.
The Caretta Sinbuais isn't just a story about death. It's a story about how we live our lives. It's a call to be mindful of our actions, to strive for a life of integrity and purpose.
It's a reminder that the choices we make have consequences not just for ourselves, but for those around us.
And perhaps even for our eternal souls, if you believe the most chilling versions of the legend.
It's a thought-provoking concept, isn't it? To consider that our actions in this life might have repercussions that extend far beyond our earthly existence.
Certainly it makes you pause and reflect on the path you're walking and the legacy you hope to leave behind.
It's a reminder to live consciously, to make choices that align with your values, and to strive to leave the world a little better than you found it.
Because who knows what might be waiting for us on the other side, and whether a ghostly ox cart might be the vehicle that carries us there.
It's a chilling thought, but one that can serve as a powerful motivator for living a life of purpose and meaning.
It's fascinating how a simple story about an ox cart can carry such profound implications about life, death, and the choices we make along the way.
That's the power of folklore, isn't it? It distills complex moral and philosophical questions into narratives that resonate across generations.
And the Creator's sin buoys is a particularly potent example.
Right. It speaks to our deepest fears and anxieties, while also offering a framework for understanding our place in the world and the consequences of our actions.
It encourages self-reflection, prompting us to examine our motivations, our relationships, and the legacy we're creating through our daily choices.
Yeah.
So the next time you find yourself at a crossroads facing a difficult decision, you might want to consider the legend of the Creator's sin buoys. Ask yourself if the path you're choosing aligns with your values, if it contributes to the well-being of your community, if it's a path you'd be willing to face, even in the presence of a spectral ox cart.
It's a chilling thought, but a powerful one nonetheless.
It reminds us that we have the power to shape our destinies, not only in this life, but perhaps beyond.
And that the choices we make today resonate not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us and the generations to come.
Well, there you have it.
The haunting legend of the Creator's sin buoy.
A tale that challenges us to examine our lives, our choices, and the very nature of good and evil.
It's a story that will stay with you long after you've heard it. A whisper on the wind reminding you that the world is full of mysteries, and that sometimes those mysteries come knocking at our door in the most unexpected ways.
If you enjoyed tonight's exploration of the Creator's sin buoys, don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to Terror and Urban Myths for more chilling tales and deep dives into the world's most unsettling folklore.
And remember, if you hear the sound of approaching wheels in the dead of night,
think carefully before you turn to look.
It might just be the Creator's sin buoys come to collect those who have ignored its warnings.
Until next time, sleep well if you dare.